What would happen if gravity suddenly disappeared? Not forever, not for a minute, just 5 seconds. It sounds harmless at first. 5 seconds is nothing, right? But in those 5 seconds, everything holding our world together would instantly lose its grip. Oceans, buildings, airplanes even, you would no longer be bound to Earth. And when gravity comes back, that's when the real destruction begins. Because gravity isn't just something that keeps you on the ground. It's the invisible force that controls motion, stability, pressure, and balance across the entire planet. Without it, even for a moment, the systems we rely on every second would begin to collapse in ways we've never experienced before. At exactly 0 seconds, gravity vanishes. Not weakens, not fluctuates. It's completely gone. The force that keeps your feet on the ground, that holds the atmosphere in place, that keeps oceans from floating into space just disappears. Immediately, everything not physically attached to the Earth's surface begins to drift upward. You wouldn't feel weightless like astronauts right away. Instead, you'd be launched upward due to the Earth's rotation at the equator. That sideways speed is over 1,600 kilometers per hour. So instead of gently floating, you'd be thrown sideways and upward at terrifying speed. Cars lose contact with roads. Planes lose lift control. People are ripped off the ground. And that's just the first second. In crowded cities, the effect would be even more violent. Loose objects, phones, street signs, glass, debris would all lift at once, creating a storm of uncontrolled motion. Even something as small as a pebble could become dangerous when moving unpredictably through the air. Those who manage to grab onto something fixed might survive the initial moment, but for most, there would be no time to react. Without gravity, the oceans don't stay put. Water begins to detach from the surface, forming massive floating blobs. Entire seas start lifting into the sky. But here's the terrifying part: the oceans don't rise smoothly. They explode upward in chaotic waves, breaking apart into enormous floating masses. Ships are torn from the water, coastal cities are instantly exposed, and marine life suddenly suspended, disoriented, and dying in midair. Meanwhile, the atmosphere itself starts expanding outward. The air you're breathing begins drifting away from Earth. In just a few seconds, the pressure drops, and breathing becomes nearly impossible. Winds would behave in completely unpredictable ways. Without gravity anchoring air masses, currents would scatter, creating violent bursts of movement. Dust, sand, and moisture would all rise together, turning the sky into a chaotic cloud of particles. Even inland areas would not be safe. Lakes and rivers would begin to lift, breaking apart and drifting upward, leaving dry, fractured landscapes behind. Now, imagine every airplane in flight. Without gravity, lift no longer functions the same way. Aircraft lose stability instantly. Passengers and loose objects slam into ceilings. Pilots lose all control as planes drift unpredictably. Satellites, they begin to shift from their orbits. Even dienstemunstamen. Everything that depends on gravity to maintain order begins to fall apart. Space itself becomes chaotic near Earth. Objects that were once in stable orbits begin to drift slightly off course. While 5 seconds may seem short, even a brief disruption in gravitational balance can alter trajectories in ways that take years to correct. Back in the atmosphere, flight becomes impossible when the fundamental force that defines up and down disappears. Back on the ground, if you can still call it that, cities are turning into chaos zones. People, vehicles, debris, everything is airborne. Glass shatters, power lines snap. Structures begin to weaken as forces they were never designed for take over. But buildings themselves don't float away entirely because they're anchored deep into the earth. Still, everything inside them becomes lethal. Imagine being inside a skyscraper as desks, computers, and even walls begin to tear apart and drift. Now, imagine all of that suddenly falling back down. Elevators would fail instantly. Trains would derail mid-motion. Bridges would experience stress in directions they were never engineered to handle. Even underground systems would not be safe, as shifting forces disrupt tunnels and pipelines. Every environment becomes unpredictable. Every structure becomes a hazard. After 5 seconds, gravity returns instantly. Everything that drifted upward, people, water, debris, vehicles, comes crashing back down. And remember, objects didn't just float. Many were moving fast due to Earth's rotation. So when gravity returns, it's not a gentle fall. It's a catastrophic slam. The sudden reintroduction of gravity would act like a global reset but a violent one. Objects suspended at different heights would fall at the same time, colliding mid-air, increasing the destruction even further. Those who were lifted even a short distance would experience a deadly impact. And for those at higher altitudes, survival would be nearly impossible. Oceans fall back onto the surface like massive bombs. Mega tsunamis race across continents. Cities near coastlines are wiped out within minutes. Airplanes plummet from the sky. Anything that reached even a few 100 meters in height hits the ground with deadly force. Millions, possibly billions, would not survive. And it doesn't end there. The sudden shift in pressure and force would trigger earthquakes and volcanic activity across the planet. The Earth itself would react violently. Tectonic plates, already under stress, would shift suddenly. Volcanoes could erupt as pressure systems destabilize. Landslides would occur across mountainous regions, burying entire areas beneath rock and debris. Even after the initial destruction, aftershocks would continue for days, weeks, or even longer. Part of Earth's atmosphere would have already begun escaping into space. When gravity returns, not all of it comes back. That means thinner air, lower oxygen levels, global climate disruption. Even a small loss of atmosphere could have long-term consequences for life on Earth. Temperature regulation would also be affected. The atmosphere plays a critical role in trapping heat and maintaining balance. Losing even a fraction of it could result in extreme temperature swings between day and night. Weather patterns would shift. Storm systems could intensify or disappear entirely, creating long-term instability in ecosystems around the world. The aftermath would be devastating. Infrastructure destroyed, communication systems down, food and water supplies disrupted, global panic and instability. Civilization as we know it would collapse. Recovery could take decades or even centuries, all from just 5 seconds without gravity. Survivors would face a completely changed world. Governments would struggle to respond. Resources would become scarce. Entire regions could become uninhabitable. Rebuilding would not just be difficult, it would require redefining how humanity lives on Earth. Gravity is something we never think about. It's constant, invisible, reliable, but in reality, it's the single force holding our entire world together. And if it disappeared, even for a moment, Earth wouldn't just change, it would never be the same again. What should we explore next? What if the sun disappeared for one day? Or what if Earth suddenly stopped spinning? Subscribe to Cosmic Exposure, because the universe has more terrifying secrets waiting.